Well, I'm just feeling like overwhelmed at the moment, so I don't have anyone I can talk to. So I guess I'll talk to you. I'll talk to myself. But yeah, I woke up with a headache, and I woke up just let's just we use the S word, just feeling flat out suicidal. Like you know, you know that some of the things I've been through, and you know how my luck has been running like the last 5 or 6 years, and I think that's what happens to people when they do um, commit suicide. Is like they get overwhelmed. It's like it's just too much stuff. I don't see anywhere to turn to. I don't see any answers. I don't see any straws to grasp at. I am a drowning man, and I don't even see the point of a sword on which to grasp. I don't really know what to do. I don't know what to do, and I woke up with a headache, which is very unusual for me. I took some aspirin for it, and yeah, yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I figure I might as well come clean about my whole story, and the parts that I can, because there's still other people involved. But just for me personally, is I hint a lot of times about like the I have that autonomic disease that affects excretory functions, and like I haven't been able to take a piss on my own for uh, since I was like 20 years old, and toward like my later years, well, since moving to Maslin, um, I started wearing like I wouldn't call them, they're really like diapers made for like um, incontinence, but I don't really have a trouble with incontinence. But there's a little bit of padding in the back there. I can't really feel what's going on with uh, my ass. I mean, this is painful stuff for me to admit, and it's going to chase a lot of viewers away. I can understand that, but to understand the full horror of what I'm dealing with, and like I'm not just some emo guy, and like there's people uh, wanting to give me advice about stuff, and you know, there's lots more to my story besides that, but um, yeah, I don't know. Uh, well, it's like I don't even think it's IBS. I don't know what it is, or whatever it is, but you know, I don't know. I probably won't even put this up. People think it's courageous or whatever to admit that you're all messed up. It's just gross. You know, it's a horrible thing, man, to be buying diapers in your 40s because of a disease that you have, and then like I'm not getting any. I don't get any support. It's like the only person I told that to was my older sister, who like kicked me to the curb. Like I pretty much kept that a secret, just because I wanted people to treat me normally. I just didn't want them carrying that around with me. And then I think like maybe if I was honest with them, they'd understand that they should let me go. You know, that it's like this guy, he's been through enough. He's already like an old man. He's 51 years old. And, you know, I chased alligators before. I faced down 6'5" angry guys. True terror is not being able to feel your own asshole. You know, it's I hinted at that kind of stuff before. Like, I, I said that I carried a big wrench for protection, and this is when I was, wow, this was like 20 years ago. But I had it in my back pocket, and I sat on the chair at my brother-in-law's house, and I was like, man, you got to get some more comfortable chairs. And I forgot that I was sitting on, like, you know, a big, huge wrench in the back pocket of a pair of jeans back when I could wear jeans. But, uh, yeah, this tooth thing has got me going back and forth. And, what happens with my bowels is like I can't really I get like sensations going through my body like all the time, so I can't tell what the hell's going on with it half the time. Like, I'll be leaning my leg up against something and not realize that my leg is touching stuff. You know, it's like it's CRPS. It's a fucking nightmare. I mean, it's from here down. And yeah, it's like shit, man. You start wearing diapers in your 40s, man. You know you got problems. Um, but yeah, that's like, when I was going to the dentist, I was like, well, I took like a whole bunch of Imodium like pills. I mean, what? Who wants to listen to this though? I mean, this is honesty, but who really wants to listen? Who really would want to listen to this? This is the truth, and there's more terrible truths that I can't go into it, and you can't really experience. It's sort of like when I was talking about like having teeth pulled. It's like you don't realize, you can't realize how much space a tooth takes up in your head, in your mouth, until it's gone. There's like the whole big root and everything, and then there's just like a space there. And that's like I was talking about. God, who would want to listen to this? My brother-in-law like had all his teeth pulled, and he found a doctor who was either unethical or didn't care or whatever, but he just literally pulled all of his teeth all at once. And he said they always hurt him, and he said even like wind hitting him, he said they always hurt him, and he had some kind of weird condition where all his teeth were like hypersensitive like all the time. He just wanted them gone. So he just made that radical decision. He was like, you can't believe how far your mouth closes. I mean, this is horror movie stuff. This is like, you know, this is true horror movie type thing. But yeah, like I'm overwhelmed with that I don't have to wear like uh, diapers all the time. It's just like a good idea sometimes. And there's no future for me, but at the same time, I have ties with uh, people, and you don't want it's for the best for me to check out. Okay, it's for the best for me to. All I got. I don't have a gun, which is my preferred method, but it's actually for the best for me to check out. There's no like, oh, you'll get past this. Okay, it's gone too far. Okay, I've had CRPS for 33 years. It's gone too far. It's gone to the point where I can't really enjoy anything. And I made a promise to myself that I was gonna get out of here first before, you know, that it was kind of like when I was like had that death threats and stuff from the meth heads. It's like, no, I'm watching you leave. I'm not leaving which is what I should have done, is just left. But it's like, no, you threaten my life. I'm watching your asses hit the road. You know, not mine. So it's kind of like that. It's like I'm not. I don't want to die here. I don't want to die in this dump with this evil, sociopathic, crooked um, landlord. And but no, I don't. I don't know. I don't consider that brave. It's just something that, these are terrors that face all of us, because we're all going to get old. We all start out in diapers, and we're all going to finish in diapers. It's just the way that it is. It's the way that life is set up. But I mean, yeah, I'm just like, I, I, I have to keep going for other people. Like, I invested a lot in my brother, and for me to like check out and just leave him hanging, I don't want to do that. But it's for the best from my point of view. It's probably for the best from his point of view, because it's gonna suck for him no matter what. And then there's other people that, like, should I reconcile with my sister in some way before I do that? Because, you know, should I be the good dude that I've always tried to be, and like reconcile with everybody and then check out? So, because suicide can be like an act of anger. Like, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to punish you, you know, and see what you made me do. I'm going to make you suffer now. And it's really not the case with me. It's just like, I've had enough. Every day is filled with suffering. I mean, I'm looking for improvement anywhere I can find it. And another thing is, like, I'm becoming more and more dependent upon strangers who don't get, strangers, you know, don't give a fuck about you, generally speaking. It's like, I had that lady yesterday. I know for a fact that she was milking her hours and inconveniencing me, and sitting in a parking lot saying, oh, they're taking a long time on your prescription, just because she could, and she's playing on her phone. And I texted that one care worker that I like, and she's always the one that's always on time, and she never takes longer than she needs to. Sometimes I'll be nice to her and talk to her for like a half an hour so she can get her hours in, but she would leave. She's like, I'm done. She's like, honest. But this woman's like, she's milking the clock. She's just sitting somewhere dicking around saying, oh, they're taking a long time with your prescription. And the place was open at 8 o'clock. So, I told her the drugstore's open right now at 8 o'clock. So she wants me to believe that she didn't go to the drugstore first like a logical person and check on my script and make sure they had it ready, and then went to Walmart. And then, she wants me to believe that she already went to Walmart and has my yogurt and stuff sitting in a car. And is just waiting on a prescription that they already said that they would have filled. Like, when she took the script in like 2 weeks ago, they said, well, that was the volume prescription. They're like, well, they can't fill this for a couple weeks. So that's another one of the horrors of aging, is like being more and more put in the hands of people like that. That they just care about themselves. They care about making their money. You're nothing to them. You know, we all know about nursing home stories and nursing home horrors and stuff like that. And since I'm alienated from a good degree of my family, Uh, that's what I'm looking at, and yeah, I know it's all very distasteful, but it's not fun to listen to, but it's the truth. I mean, something happened to me when I had that spinal tumor. That spinal tumor was like right around the nerves that controlled like bladder and bowel function. So I remember coming out of it when I was 16 and like feeling like a numbness like that went back down through I don't know, the perineum genital type area and then down like into my left leg. And then like it faded and then I was okay for a while. And and then like I don't exactly remember. I know for a fact I haven't urinated on my own without the use of what they call straight cath for since I was 20. So um, CRPS from here, not a joke. It's not a game. You know, it's not fun. This overwhelmed feeling that I have right now, I think, is why people, you know, that's why I don't keep a gun in the house or anything like that. And you know, it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around because, like I said, all this space is going to be opened up in my mouth if I let him pull all four teeth. If I let him take two teeth and then tell him I want to try to save the other two, which is a possibility. I don't know if they're going to want the money up front because I don't have any credit. I have a niece who has some money. I have some money. I get paid in a week. You know, I can come up with like, I'll be like, look, I want to save this one. And then I want to save that one. Maybe that's the way I'll go. But, you know, I didn't spend any money on this because this somehow was covered. But, you know, they put like, I don't know what they call it when they cover the whole tooth. They call that a cap or a crown or whichever one it is where they cover the whole tooth. I think that's what they're talking about here. But she was like, I don't want to pull all your teeth. He's like, is there any way you can raise that kind of money, or your insurance doesn't cover that unless it's a problem with the top of your tooth that's too close to the root. And I'm thinking like, you know, I spend the money and then um, it's just a waste of money. You know, it's just a waste of money. But I don't work for my money anyway. But it also means I'll be living in this building longer. And I foolishly chose to invest like $3,000 in football cards to give me something to look forward to, which I had bought starting last year in December. So I was thinking, oh, like the Browns are building something here. No, no, that didn't work out. And the money that I gave away to people throughout the years, where I was like just being generous or masochistic, or maybe I feel like it gives me a sense of self-worth or something to like last year I paid for the boat guy, my foster brother's household's furnace, while his mom was in the hospital because he just called me up and was like, man, you need $200 to get the furnace fixed. Can I borrow it? It's like, yeah. And then later on I was like, man, we're starting out a new policy. I'm writing off all old debts, so he's like, I can get that back to you. And it's like, no, no, no. And he was like, but what if I need to borrow more than $20? Because I had a $20 limit. And then that sort of further showed me where I stood with those people, that I was nothing to them but dollar signs. they don't call me or check on me or, you know, see the utter mess that I'm living in. I mean, I don't do dishes anymore because my legs messed up. Um, yeah, I'm just overwhelmed with all the horror of it all, and having the hypersensitivity on the stomach, um, having the bowel issues where you can't trust. You just don't have the I got like noise, and guess you could call it neuropathy of the a-hole, but I got like noise coming from that region all the time, so I just kind of have to ignore it. And this is gonna sound really stupid, but a lot of times I'll know I have to go to uh, I'll have to take a shit because I'll feel like sensations in my right foot. That's how fucking messed up my body is. Um, Now, if I love somebody that was in the state that I was in, like I would want to see him. I'd be like, you know what? Let's have a death day party for you. You can blow out the candles on the cake, and we'll have the Dr. Kevorkian thing where all your loved ones are together, and we'll watch you pass. Um, it's not what I'm gonna do though. You know, it's not what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go ahead and foolishly blow the money. I'm gonna let him pull these two teeth and blow the money on these front teeth because I just can't picture like four teeth all in a row just wiped out like that. I might make that call today and see if I can make a change in plans and still go in there on the 30th. But the thing of it is I don't got nobody. It's like I don't. There's nobody I can call. My best friend's mom just found out, my best friend just found out his mom is on the way out. She's 88, but that's your mom. That she got lymphoma. They just thought she had like water on her lungs. I talked to her on the phone in the hospital right before they found out that she had cancer. And, you know, he actually was fishing yesterday with my brother in the Niagara River where I used to like to go. I haven't been able to go fishing for a lot of years. But I used to be real brave and just go, just go places and not worry about accidents, you know, shitting your pants. There's a euphemism for you, you know. Uh, and I've done a lot of things because I haven't had, like I said, that was like 20 some years ago where like I was sitting on a ranch and didn't know it. And like my family kind of never figured that out because you don't really think about that. I don't want nobody thinking about my O-ring that much anyway, frankly. But you don't think about that, But I've told them like stuff like that where like I was sitting on something and not even knowing that I was sitting on it. And it's like, well, if you don't feel that, then that probably means you don't feel other things going on back there, like your fine sensation is gone. But I don't know. I really didn't want to make a video like this, but yeah, I'm very overwhelmed, and uh, it's one thing like when I had to go to that dental appointment. It's like my bowels were kind of like loose, and it's different. Like if you can feel what's going on back in there, but if you can't, I mean, so to me, bravery is facing stuff like that. it's not really like you know, bravery is like an emotional like honesty type of thing. It's like it's not really like facing down people or standing up to people like under physical threats of violence or anything like that. That's why I told that guy, like, that's why I kind of laugh at the crazy guy that lives upstairs. It's like, or like the meth death threats. It's like, I'm watching you leave. You ain't watching me leave. You know, it takes a lot more bravery worrying about shitting yourself in public. And, everybody's always telling me, I guess, my face, I guess, is held up fairly well. And so, people are always telling me, like, you don't look like you're 51. And, usually I have a hat on when that happens, though. I don't see the baldness. The baldness doesn't help, you know. Though, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how, I do not know how to fix relationships with people that are not being honest, okay? I don't know how to do it or how it can be done. I don't know how, you know, I'm supposed to, like, just forgive uh, people that do things like what my sister did and what my foster brother did, where he just not a dime, man. Not like, I'm sorry I didn't take care of your boat. Here's a couple $100. I'm sure he could spare a couple $100. You know, shit, man. I, just I I I need honesty. Like, I need you to be honest about, like, okay, you bailed on me. You know, just you bailed on me emotionally. Like just be honest about why you did it. From my sister, it's like why did you do that? Why? How can you not see that I would be angry after supporting you for 30 years and you never seeing me cry and never having, never crying on your shoulder, never whining about my situation. You you didn't even know about the diaper thing until it was going on for like years. And like with the other guy, he's like, oh, I don't believe your best friend who's had two of those motors before that motor is messed up. All it needs is this or this or this. That boat's not that bad. I need honesty to deal with that. But yeah, like I'm overwhelmed because like the tooth thing, teeth are always an emotional thing with people, um, because it's uh, there's more intimate things, I suppose, than having like your mouth open and people digging around inside your mouth and being in that vulnerable position. But yeah, that's an emotional thing, and getting your teeth cut out and pulled out and stuff. And I'm facing that this coming Wednesday, and then waking up and just having that hit you, you know, having all that hit you, man. CRPS, bad knee, uh, losing all your teeth, and then your ruined relationships sink the mind, and understanding that you don't really have to support to help you get through this. And it's like I can call like the Coleman Professional Services place, and what are they gonna do? Put me on with a stranger? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I think this is why a lot of people check out. It's like that overwhelmed type feeling where they don't know what else to do. You know, um, yeah, I just didn't want to talk about that. Just maybe that's a disservice to people that have CRPS, but not too many people have CRPS from here down. It's usually in a limb or something like that, so they usually don't have to deal with that kind of thing I'm talking about, with where it messes with your excretory functions. Um, and my head hurts. Uh, yeah, as far as public suffering like this, I mean, I don't know what value that has, or like who would watch this. Um, the other stuff that I can't be honest about, you know, the bullets that I've taken for other people, um, that are hinted at in other videos. Um, I can't really, you know, I can't do that because other people, I have to be respectful of other people, even if they aren't talking to me, or even if they treat me like garbage. I, I can't, it's like a code or something. I can't do that. I can't put something that involves them out on Front Street. But, you know, this is my deal. Okay, I'm the guy who's got to buy diapers. I'm the guy that's you know, got to worry about, okay, I'm going to go to the dentist today. Am I going to shit myself in like the middle of the dentist thing? Or is there going to be like a foul odor? You know, I take like an extra pair of pants now with me, and an extra diaper. They're not really like diapers, they're like those Depends type things. They're really made for urinary incontinence, which I don't have a problem with, but they, like I said, they have padding in the back. But yeah, I, I just don't, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I really don't. I kind of have to do it for other people, though. You know, I can't. I had a brother who committed suicide, and more power to him. I don't feel. I feel he made the right choice for him. You know, but I was only 9 years old when he did it, and he was 17, I think. But he spared himself a lot of suffering, and you know, see, my mom used to be a Catholic, and they actually told, she went and questioned the priest, and they were like, well, you know, he didn't have a chance to confess his sin, and killing yourself's a mortal sin, so your son's in hell, you know. So she stopped being a Catholic. That's how she stopped being a Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and I was like, oh, I'd like to find that priest and punch him in his fucking face. um, Whoever said that, she told me that, I think only once. And um, so she became like um, a freelance Christian, where she went to like a few churches here and there. And yeah, I, it just, yeah, I don't know what the official stance is from the Catholic Church on suicide or whatever. I don't really, if that was that own guy's like deal or whatever, but talk about like a guy not suited to the position that he assumed, you know, of a compassionate person. He's sticking with that doctrine and that dogma. You gotta have remission of sins and confess your sins. And if the last thing you do is a sin, to hell you go. So yeah. Yeah, that whole quagmire of childhood, man, I gotta stay away from that because it just involves too many other people. And then like I have to think about 4 or 5 people like with this where it's best for me to check out, you know. They're not with me every day. They don't understand. Nobody comes here. I mean, the last person to really come here and stay was my brother. I'm pretty sure he gave me bed bugs. So, but nobody really comes here to see that the state of affairs that I'm in, where I can't really take care of myself right. And like, I got the bad knee, and I'm trying to like look beyond my current circumstances, and I can live even with, like I have peace and contentment because of the experience I had when I was 20 years old. That's I talked about in a video called the X Experience. I mean, I got that peace inside where, but physical suffering overwhelms that, you know. If you're suffering too much, and I don't know how this is going to go with this tooth thing, and I suffer from anxiety because of the way I was raised in childhood and the environment I grew up in. It's not, I don't think it's a genetic type of thing. Um, but yeah, overwhelmed. Don't want to, I'll talk to my niece when my niece is in Georgia. I'll talk to her about getting some money together, and then like I can pay her back like $500 a month. Problem is she's not good with money. She makes a lot of money, but she's not good with money. So, you know, but maybe that'll give me a feeling of empowerment or give me a little hope or something, or even if it's only temporary and it's a waste of money and I only have these 2 teeth for a year or so. Maybe it'll be a year or so where I can recover, get the fuck out of this place, you know. Um, I can't walk, I can't shit right, I can't piss right, I can't wear a shirt. I know, boo hoo hoo with your petty little problems. Um, um, yeah, I got that friend in Florida that he he's got that drinking problem, but he's a good dude. And it just occurs to me like, man, I really need someone to talk to right now, and I just don't have anybody, because I don't think they can handle it. It's a lot to handle, and they can't. It's like they were raised in an emotionally messed up environment. All these people that I know, except for my cop friend who's got the mom with cancer, and it's like they're just not equipped. They just whatever empathy gene or whatever develops, and when you're raised in a normal, relatively sane, happy household, they just don't have. And I'd be afraid to like even with yeah I don't want to name names, but I'd be afraid to talk to them because they make it worse. You know, they want me to keep living, but they don't want to help me carry the burden of my life. You know, that's another thing. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I my niece, I could have just picked up the prescriptions the next day, but my bowels were like very iffy, and I asked my niece to pick up these prescriptions for me. Yeah, I already talked about this, I'm pretty sure. And my brother-in-law made a point of saying to sister, my older sister, who stepped on me like a snail on the sidewalk, 12/27/17. Um, he made a point of saying that, oh, I'll just call her my sister. Your sister went in and picked them up. I'm like, I wonder why he did that. Made a point of saying that they're here. You can't shut the car off that I bought for my sister for some reason. Just got some kind of mechanical problem with it now after so many years. But you're gonna tell me that, you know, why? Like, why did he tell me that? Why was it necessary to tell me that? And he's like the most thoughtless person in the world, one of the most self-absorbed people I've ever met. And it's like he must be telling me that, you know, because he wants like he wants me and my his wife, my sister, to make up. And it's like, I don't know who told me, like, I forget who told me that. It's like, you know, you need to get things straight with your family or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's kind of easier said than done. It's like, I can't even, you know, I didn't even remember, like, when I was talking the other day about the big bag of homegrown and my brother, or my foster brother, the boat guy, being homeless and having to crawl back home, and they took him back in a second time when he was in his mid 20s, somewhere between 25 and 30. And you know, they took him in twice, and then like he abandoned me, my brother, and the people that took him in twice later on. You know, it's like, oh, you need to get back with your family. You need to get back with these people, and I'm like, I don't know. You know, I think the only, I don't know. I don't know what he's up to nowadays, or you know, I haven't spoken to him forever. Um, just like fake texting, fake phone calls. You know, just trying to get that boat thing dealt with. Um, but yeah, I'm just making this to try to like give the volume, which I hadn't taken for a long time to kick in, and to express. Like, I think this is what people get to before um, they take that final option, you know, and commit suicide. Is they get to that feeling of being overwhelmed, where they don't know what to do and they don't know where to turn or who to turn to, you know, or they don't see any future for themselves. That's if they're, you know, they don't have like a chemical imbalance in their brain, which I met plenty of those kind of people, um, from being in psych units and stuff. And I think that's that. Like I said, I think that's what happens. It's like, because you know, that's why I don't keep a gun around, because this would be like, yeah, it'd be real simple to pull the trigger right now. But it's like, I don't want to deal with all this. It's just, it's too overwhelming. And, you know, it's weird that the people that either can't support me because they're just not equipped for it, or they won't support me, or they don't support me, or they're parasitic, are the people that I don't want to hurt by giving my by ending my own misery. Is that masochism? What is that? Is that some strange form of twisted nobility? Like, I don't know. I can't do self-analysis all the time. Is that like I'm just not ready yet myself to leave this, or I don't want to give up, or is it like that promise that I made to myself where it's like, I'm getting out of here first? It's like, this is a toxic place. This is literally a toxic place. There's still bug spray streaks on the wall. I mean, there's bug uh, uh, poison powder like all around my bed, and I'm in here like all the time. And I crack windows and stuff, but winter's coming, and yeah, there's no good place to end something like this. And yeah, I can confess that, as far as like yeah, I don't know how many years ago it started, where it's like yeah, I can't really trust my bowels. I can't really feel what's going on in there. But it's kind of weird. Like I said, instead of an Achilles heel, I got an Achilles knee. The heel brought Achilles down, but the knee brought uh, Steve down. It's like once that knee started to go bad and started messing with my walking, I wasn't doing too bad up until that point. And I I couldn't get that fixed. I couldn't get anything done about that. And I tried. And that's another thing, is like, it makes me it boils my onions that I watch people that don't try. And I'm trying, hanging in there against like very, very difficult things to deal with, and I'm trying to make improvements, and I'm trying to do things for my mental health, and I'm trying to improve my physical situation, and I'm going to dentists. Like, my brother hasn't been to a dentist for like 30 years, and it's like I have to deal with that all the time. It's like I'm making an effort, and then like I have to listen to people complain who are not making any effort. And sometimes I do like like to my brother, I wrote him an email and a letter that was just like the email printed out, and I'm like, this is what you're looking at, and this is what's gonna happen. You know, it's like, you're gonna have to face up to this stuff, or this. It spelled it out for him, and he was like, I know. He's like, I'm not mad about you sending that letter. I read your letter. He's like, I know. I just accept it. It's like, okay. I told him more or less, all your worst fears are gonna come true. You're you're running from all this stuff that you're afraid of, and it's all gonna come true. You're gonna make it true by running, because you're running from something. You can run, but you can't hide. You're running from something, and you're hiding from something, but it's gonna find you. It's gonna catch up to you. And that grizzly bear. A man can't outrun a grizzly bear. It's because the grizzly bear is fat and chunky. It's gonna catch you. It's gonna get you. And he's like, yeah, no. And it's like, I don't understand that. And yeah, my situation though, like this teeth thing is just like another thing. It's just another thing on top of a lot of other things. You know, the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's like I got bundles of straw on this camel's back of different things to deal with. Neuropathy, weakness in my left leg, trouble walking, can't clean up my house, can't do my own dishes, can't have people in my house. Even though my one worker lied and said that the house was clean, it's like that one person who's now my new aide, it's like I don't trust her as far. I don't like her. I don't want to be around her, and I don't want to be bothered with it. Okay, keep my house a disaster. I don't want to be bothered with her. I don't want the invasiveness of it. Um, it's just kind of funny that like it took me a while, but I cleaned up my living room, even in the state that I'm in, and swept even, and bad knee at all. Picked up a bunch of garbage and cardboard and did a bunch of stuff. And like, because I thought they're gonna have to assemble the scooter, and the guy wheels it out of the truck already assembled. I thought they'd have a big box. I thought it would be in a box and it would be shipped to me, but no. You know, they don't ship it. They have a tech guy like wheel it into your house already assembled. So all that was unnecessary, which was ironic. But yeah, um, I'm not. Yeah, I'm. If my head, the aspirin's helped my head a little bit. Maybe talking's helped a little bit too. Um, I don't like. I don't like talking about stuff that Those are the real boogeymen in in people's lives. It's getting old and what's going to happen to your body. I mean, and the possibilities of what can happen to a human body and the frailty of it. Um, those are the real uh, boogeymen. Uh, I mean, those spree shooter guys, they probably put you down clean. Um, but there's nothing clean about having to suffer and live a miserable, diminished life for like years and years, and not being able to do the things that you love, like go fishing, just walking around without pain, just walking anywhere. And then, the fear of losing your independence and having to depend on strangers who don't give a fuck about you. And we all know about abuse in nursing homes and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, this is a horror movie. This is a real horror movie. I mean, getting old. That's the horror movie. That's the fear. That's what makes this unpleasant to watch. Not like watching another human being suffer. It's like yeah, that's bad. That's a you might be like, that's an okay guy there. It should All that bad stuff shouldn't have happened to him. But really, it should happen to me. It could happen to you. And old age is going to happen to all of us. That's why I think we need to develop some new attitudes about this whole getting old thing. You know, if your quality of life is just suffering, and then you got people around you that that don't want to let go of you, they want to keep you around for selfish reasons, even if you're suffering. And then in my case, it's like I don't want to I don't want to hurt these other people, especially if you knew the whole story about the lengths that I went to and the bullets that I took to protect some of these people. And yeah, but that's the horror movie right there. That's like it's that's why this is, I'm sure, unpleasant to watch and unpleasant to hear about. It's not. It's because let's face it. We all care about ourselves more than we care about other people. Let's just be honest, okay? You know, let's just be honest here. And that's natural. You know, that's a natural thing. So like you think when you hear about stuff like that, nightmarish my nightmarish existence, you're like, yeah, that's, and the fact that you get old, this stuff happens. I'm only 51. This should not be happening to me, but it's probably happening just because of the CRPS and the life that I've led. Um, you know, you get old, you're gonna have problems with your teeth. You're gonna have problems with your excretory functions. You may end up in diapers. You're gonna have trouble with independence and walking. Hopefully, you have enough loved ones around you that you don't have to depend on the kindness of strangers. You're not at the mercy of people like this Jeanette person who, just happy to leave me suffering so she can clock in and make an extra $9 or whatever they get paid an hour. It's like, I don't want to, I talked to the aid worker that I like, and she's like, just had me describe her and tell her name, and she goes, "Oh man, she's totally worthless," and she does as little work as possible. She'll go in people's houses and be talking on the phone, and you actually have to tell her, to work. You have to like be a boss to her, when that's her job. I'm like, man, who needs that? But yeah, whenever you get bad news like that, like I knew my teeth were bad, but I thought that they'd pull like this tooth, and then the other, maybe this tooth, but they're talking about wiping out 4 teeth at once. Man, that's like a large percentage of my teeth. And then like what happens is, if you feel around your mouth, that place that you have, like below the gum line, that's all root. And then once that root gets taken out of there, there's nothing there. I mean, there's nothing there but the jawbone. And so it's like, it's a huge adjustment. And like, I'm in a fragile emotional state, and I don't know if I'm ready for a huge adjustment like that. I don't think the universe much cares if I'm ready for it or not. But yeah, I wish I could be honest with you totally about everything. I can't. you know I mean, it's like I said, lower my viewership's already getting pretty low, and I'm on here a lot because don't have anybody to talk to that I can trust. So, um, you don't expect to hear that kind of a thing. Like a 51-year-old dude that had to wear diapers in his like 40s. That is worried about rectal incontinence. Like shitting yourself in public. I mean, when I was going through my dental appointment, that stuff's actually running through my mind. It's like my bowels are pretty unstable, and then I'm taking like Pepto Bismol and like Imodium AD type knockoffs just to like let's keep everything on the inside here until I get through whatever I got to get through today. And that's just part of, that's part of the autonomic disease. And yeah, like, who really wants to hear about all that? That's why I haven't talked about it for these last 2 years. It's because it's just unpleasant. Who wants to hear about that? But it, I'm talking now about being overwhelmed and suicidal, and like, if I'm gonna talk like frankly about that, I have to talk frankly about some of the reasons behind it. You know, besides the immobility, the lack of independence, the trouble walking, and all the other problems that I have. So, yeah, this one will definitely come with a warning right in the title. Uh, that, yeah, maybe if you want to be depressed, watch this. Or something like that. I was just going to call it overwhelmed. But I think it's might be useful, like, for people to understand why suicides happen. Is that, wow, okay, stomach, mellow the hell out. Is like, you get overwhelmed. You don't feel like you have a course of action to follow that's worthwhile. You don't see any way out. You don't see any help. You don't have like a support system or people you can talk to, shoulders you can cry on, people you can feel safe around. You're overwhelmed and you got nowhere to turn. I think that's a lot of times why suicide happens in people that don't have, like, you know a chemical imbalance in their brain, and that are, I think I'm relatively emotionally stable, frankly. I actually think I'm probably more emotionally stable and sane than probably 80% of the population easily. Okay, I don't think uh, people would. There's not too many people in the world that would have lasted this long with CRPS for 33 years, and that have been through the things that I've been through and seen the things that I've seen, and still be here, and still be relatively sober and willing to talk about it and be able to articulate it in words. I don't, they would be drunk, high, stoned, dead, suicides, it's a lot of stuff, you know. So now maybe 65 to 70% of my problems. Now that I added in the whole diaper thing. And like I said, what makes me sad about the whole thing is not that. That was tough to adjust to, understand. But it's like, I can be at peace even with all my physical problems if I'm not suffering too bad. But I'm suffering like a bitch with my knee, and um, not being able to get that fixed, and my walking, which is on here somewhere. CRPS man walking, which is extraordinarily painful. And I can deal with all that, and I can, I can actually be cheerful and be at peace just from knowing that I've been a good person and have lived a good life as far as like treatment of other people in general. And it's, man, now these teeth are hurting, and they didn't even address this one that hurts, or that, I mentioned this one over here. And it's like they gave me my partial plate, and I just threw it in a drawer because it's useless. Because they're going to rearrange my whole mouth anyway. They're going to have to make a new partial plate, which is covered. Um, I got a couple more days to adjust, to adjust to this, or to try to get used to this idea, to try to figure out, maybe I do want to blow $2,000 on these two teeth, and maybe it'd be worth it, even if they're only good for a year before they go bad. Maybe it'd be worth it just to get me through, you know, getting all four teeth wiped out at the same time. I can deal with these two being wiped out, but getting all four of the teeth into the front of my mouth wiped out all at the same time, man, that's kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around. Um, so, yeah, one more time. That's the main reason why I thought to do this is, besides the usual expression, better than repression, better out than in, as far as like when you're suffering. Um, but yeah, I think that's that overwhelmed, like I don't know what to do, where to turn, who to talk to, how to deal with these problems. I think that's like probably the major component in suicides. So, anyways, I'm gonna get off here. I probably talked for an hour anyway. You know me. See what we got here. An hour and 6 minutes of very depressing, harsh material, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And if you made it this far, you are a brave little soldier. Let me tell you. Goodbye, and text, make some phone calls maybe today. Try to do something positive. Maybe get a hold of my niece and see if she's got a few dollars. I'll call my dentist and say that I want to try to come up with the money. They'll be happy to hear that. And just get the two teeth pulled. Though this one has been causing me a little bit of pain. I don't know, maybe it should go that way. Maybe they should pull all four of them. That's another thing. It's like the not knowing. Um, I don't know. But I can always get them pulled later. I just want to get these two pulled. I feel like I have some control over the situation. But like I said, you're a brave little soldier if you sat through this. And, the echoes that it has for all of us are different and the same. But we all face, if we choose to, and if we're lucky or unlucky enough, however you want to look at it, to reach old age, we all have to deal with this kind of stuff. Like sooner or later, the dissolution of the body, um, the problems, that I'm facing now are problems that people have to face when they get old. Loss of teeth, loss of good bowel control, and or at least having bowel issues, um, loss of mobility. It's all things that I'm dealing with now. I'm just a very suave, youngish, uh, old person at the age of 51. Toodles.